Hey guys, what's up? Today we've got another lesson on sweep picking, and particularly how to synchronize both hands, because when it comes to sweep picking, you've really got to make sure that both hands are working together. So we'll be focusing particularly on the right hand motion, and then I'll teach you the exercise that I just played in the beginning of the video. So let's get into it. So usually when it comes to shredding, particularly alternate picking, and we're playing lots of fast stuff, it's our right hand that's a lot stronger and more dominant than the left hand. But when it comes to sweep picking, it's usually the other way around. And that is probably the main reason why your sweep picking is not synchronized. By the way, if you are completely new to sweep picking, I do have a video on the essentials and basics of it that you can check out as well. And if you want, you can come back here afterwards. But for those of you who are familiar with sweeping and you've practiced it a lot, but you're still struggling with it, there are a few reasons why your right hand is betraying you. The first thing that might be tripping you up is the way you hold the pick. Now, some teachers teach that you've got to hold your pick in a very specific way when you're sweep picking, and if you're not holding it that way, you're going to struggle. But in my personal opinion, you should be modeling your sweeping technique after your regular, fast, alternate picking technique. And the reason I say that is because you should already be picking in such a way where your pick can get across the strings as easily as possible. If I'm already happy with the way I'm holding the pick for regular shredding, then there should be no reason that I try to find a new way to change my angle for sweep picking, because the same idea applies. We want to get across the strings with as little resistance as possible. So if you're happy with the way you hold the pick, but you're still struggling with the sweeping technique, then the problem is the right hand motion. Now the truth is there are many different motions you can use for sweep picking. So in my other video, I mentioned that you should be starting off by using maybe your elbow and some shoulder action, but I wanted to go more into depth about that and show you the actual motion that I'm talking about. So if you're starting out with sweep picking and you're using only your wrist, that can cause problems, because as the pick goes up and down the strings, you're changing angles constantly. So your pick might be getting to the correct string at the correct time, but because of the change of angles, it's creating resistance as it goes. And that is messing up your synchronization. So when I say it's good to use the elbow and the shoulder, the motion I'm talking about is very similar to sawing a piece of wood. Because it's the same motion, but instead of sticking my arm out like this, my arm is against the strings, and when I want to sweep pick, it's going to look like this. So all I'm doing there is moving my elbow like this. When I'm on the higher strings, like the high E, I'll be down here. And when I go to the G, I'm going to be pulling my elbow up like this. All it is this movement. I don't need to use my wrist. And when you do this, it creates a diagonal motion, right? As opposed to sweeping straight down across the strings like this. And again, if you are good at sweeping and you can sweep straight on like this, that's fine. I'm not saying people shouldn't be doing that. All I'm saying is if you are struggling with your sweeping, just try to go from the elbow in that diagonal line, just like that, like you're sawing a piece of wood. So the last thing that might really be tripping you up when it comes to sweep picking is that you're stopping your hand when there's a hammer-on and a pull-off. So what I mean by this is if I play that C major arpeggio again, often what happens is when people get to the hammer-on and pull-off, right, their right hand completely stops. They make their right hand wait for the hammer-on and pull-off before they continue. Now, obviously, to some degree, that's normal, but it can really mess up your synchronization because the right hand tends to either be too quick or too slow when it comes to waiting to move on to the rest of the arpeggio, and that just creates a mess. So just be mindful of your right hand when you are encountering hammer-ons and pull-offs, not to make it wait too long. You really have to try keep it moving as much as possible.
Like water. Now, water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
So for this reason, today's exercise focuses a lot on hammer-ons and pull-offs. But let's check it out. So this exercise is just a bunch of arpeggios in C major. So if I play the whole thing slowly, it's going to look like this. So practicing with all these hammer-ons and pull-offs is really going to help you build synchronization. So how do we play it? So we start on the high E string and we're going to do a hammer-on and pull-off from the 8th fret to the 12th fret. And then we're going to sweep up to the B string and it's going to be the 10th fret. And then we're going to sweep up to the G string and it's going to be the 9th fret. So altogether what we have so far is And then we're going to go back the way we came, and we're going to play the 10th fret on the B string, and then the 8th fret on the high E string, and we're going to hammer back onto 12 and pull off back onto 8. So altogether that's... Then we go to a B diminished arpeggio, and we're going to go to the 10th fret of the high E string, and we're going to hammer on from 10 to 13 and then back to 10. Then we're going to sweep up to the 12th fret of the B string, and then the 10th fret of the G string. So far we have, and then we're going to go back the way we came. We're going to play 12th on the B, and then back to the 10th fret of the high E, and we're going to do another hammer on and pull off from the 13. So altogether that's... And now we're going to play a C major arpeggio. So on the 12th fret of the high E, we're going to play 12, hammer on to 15, and then back to 12. And we're going to go to the 13th fret of the B string, sweep up to the 12th fret of the G string, and then go back the way we came. So we're going to hit 13 on the B again, and then 12, 15, 12 on the high E. More hammer-ons and pull-offs. So altogether there we have... Then we're going to play a D minor arpeggio, so we're going to go to the 13th fret of the high E and play 13, 17, 13. Then we're going to sweep up to 15 on the B, and then we're going to sweep up to 14 on the G. And then go back the way we came. We're going to play 15 on the B again, and then 13, 17, 13 on the high E. So altogether that's... Then we're going to do an E minor arpeggio, so it's the exact same shape as the one we just played, except we're going to start on the 15th fret of the high E, and we're going to play 15, 19, 15. And then we're going to sweep up to the 17th fret of the B string, and then sweep up to the 16th fret of the G string. And then we're going to go back the way we came, and we're going to play 17 on the B again. And then on the high E, we're going to do 15, 19, 15 again, hammer-ons and pull-offs. So altogether that's... And then we get to the last arpeggio, and we're going to start on the 17th fret of the high E, and we're going to do a hammer-on from the 17th fret to the 20th fret, then back to the 17th. Then we're going to sweep up to the 18th fret of the B string, and then we end on the 17th fret of the G string, which is a C. Right, so all together slowly, that's... And something that's very important to remember is your technique will change a lot whether you are playing slowly or fast, and that's completely normal. And that is why you've got to practice it slow and fast. So practice it slowly, make sure you can do it cleanly, but then also just practice bursts of speed. You don't need to always work your way up to the tempo you want to play. Just do bursts of speed, even if it sounds bad in the beginning. The reason we're doing that is we need to be able to feel that technique at a higher speed. That'll help build some good muscle memory. Another piece of advice that I have for you while you're practicing this is only let a small bit of the pick stick out while you are sweep picking. The reason for this is you also want your thumb to be able to mute strings that you're not playing while you're sweeping. Also, if you are using the elbow movement for your sweep picking, do not lock up your wrist. We don't want any tension. We just don't want the wrist to be doing all the work for us. And once you get used to the elbow, you can incorporate some wrist in there as well, and it will be a lot simpler for you to play. But anyway, guys, it's time for you to go practice, so that's all from me today. If you did find this video helpful or you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like or a comment. It really helps me out a lot. And obviously you can subscribe if you want to see more as well. Otherwise, I wish you all the best for your practicing, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.